In a world of political figureheads, Russian President Vladimir Putin has created a vibe that matched no other politicians in the world. Today we're examining 10 instances that showcase why Mr. Putin has become the embodiment of what internet culture calls a Sigma. Someone who operates by their own rules, commands respect, and maintains an unwavering composure regardless of circumstances. From his KGB past to his interactions with world leaders, these moments reveal a man who has defined his own path on the global stage. Let's dive into the enigmatic world of Vladimir Putin and the moments that have cemented his unique status in geopolitics. Number 10. Putin's elite bodyguards. Vladimir Putin's security detail is legendary, comprising elite officers from the Federal Protective Service known as the FSO. These aren't ordinary bodyguards. They're highly trained operatives who anticipate threats before they materialize, creating an invisible fortress around the Russian leader. In 2013, during a joint press conference with German Chancellor Angela Merkel in Hanover, the diplomatic event was suddenly interrupted when Femen protesters charged towards the stage. Before Putin could even register what was happening, his bodyguards materialized seemingly from thin air, neutralizing the potential threat with surgical precision. Putin remained unfazed, a slight smirk crossing his face as Merkel appeared visibly startled. They don't just protect him, they amplify his Sigma presence on the world stage. Number 9. The Dresden Files. Putin is a real-life KGB agent. Before becoming the face of Russian leadership, Vladimir Putin operated in the shadows as a KGB intelligence officer. His posting to Dresden, East Germany during the Cold War remains a fascinating chapter in his life that shaped his worldview and approach to power. In December 1989, as the Berlin Wall fell and anti-communist sentiment swept across Eastern Europe, an angry mob gathered outside the KGB headquarters in Dresden, threatening to storm the building. With Soviet authority crumbling and no clear instructions from Moscow, junior officer Putin found himself facing a potential disaster. As demonstrators approached the building, Putin calmly walked out alone to confront the crowd. According to accounts from that day, he addressed the mob with calculated confidence, informing them that armed guards inside had orders to shoot if anyone attempted to enter. It was a bluff. The building had minimal protection and documents were already being frantically burned inside. Yet Putin's unwavering demeanor and cold conviction convinced the crowd he wasn't to be tested. They dispersed without incident. What makes this moment particularly significant is that Putin operated without a safety net. Rather than panicking, he assessed the situation and took decisive action that potentially saved lives and protected sensitive intelligence. This incident reveals the core of Putin's Sigma mentality. When systems collapse, the individual must step forward and create order from chaos. Number 8. Putin is pro at his commanding presence. In diplomatic circles, subtle body language often reveals more than official statements. Throughout his tenure, Vladimir Putin has consistently established himself as the alpha figure in rooms filled with world leaders, demonstrating a mastery of nonverbal dominance rarely seen in modern politics. When meeting with US President Donald Trump, observers noted how Putin controlled the room's dynamics. After their handshake, it was Putin who subtly directed Trump where to go and when to begin, establishing the pace of their interaction. Trump, normally dominant in his own meetings, found himself following Putin's lead when with him. This consistent pattern across meetings with different world leaders reveals a man who intuitively understands power dynamics and exploits them with precision regardless of whose territory he stands on. Number 7. Putin's iconic walk. Few world leaders can claim that their walking style has spawned scientific studies, viral videos, and countless imitations, but Vladimir Putin's distinctive stride has achieved precisely that cultural impact. Dubbed the gunslinger walk by observers, Putin's gait has become one of his most recognizable physical signatures on the world stage. The walk is immediately distinctive. Putin moves with his left arm swinging normally, while his right arm remains notably still, close to his body. This asymmetrical motion creates an impression of readiness and controlled tension, like a gunslinger in the Old West, prepared to draw at any moment. Some neurologists have studied this pattern, with some suggesting it might relate to his KGB training, where agents were taught to keep their gun arms steady and close to their weapon. When he enters a room, the distinctive rhythm of his movement immediately draws attention and sets him apart. Beyond Russia, the walk has become an internet phenomenon, with compilation videos garnering millions of views and spawning countless memes. What other world leader can claim their walking style has its own dedicated fan culture? Number 6, the master of beasts, Putin's encounter with animals. Vladimir Putin's interactions with animals have become one of the most distinctive aspects of his public image, revealing a side of the Russian leader that stands in stark contrast to his often stern political persona. These moments have proven particularly powerful in shaping his mystique as someone who commands respect, even from the animal kingdom. Perhaps most iconic are Putin's encounters with bears, which have taken on almost mythological significance. While he hasn't actually ridden a bear, as internet memes suggest, his comfortable proximity to these powerful creatures during conservation efforts has cemented an association between Putin and Russia's national animal. This symbolism isn't accidental. The bear represents strength, endurance, and resilience in Russian culture. Horses frequently feature in Putin's animal encounters. Unlike many politicians who pose awkwardly on horseback for photo opportunities, Putin rides with the confidence of someone genuinely comfortable in the saddle. His shirtless horseback ride through the Siberian wilderness became one of the most widely circulated images of any world leader in recent history. Number 5. Instant humour on Boris Johnson. When British PM Boris Johnson claimed Putin's war was driven by toxic masculinity, the Russian leader had a sharp response ready. In June 2022, Boris Johnson made a bold claim. If Putin was a woman, he wouldn't have embarked on this crazy, macho war. Johnson suggested Putin's war exemplified toxic masculinity and argued for more women in positions of power. Putin's response was swift and calculated. Speaking in Turkmenistan, he calmly stated, "I'd like to point to events in modern history when Margaret Thatcher decided to launch a war against Argentina for control of the Falkland Islands. There, a woman decided to start a war." With this single historical reference, Putin undermined Johnson's entire argument. Instant sigma, right? Number 4, Putin with Western journalists. Western journalists approaching interviews with Vladimir Putin often arrive with confrontational questions designed to provoke an emotional response, a strategy that has consistently backfired over the years. What distinguishes Putin's media approach is his refusal to play by the emotional rules many journalists expect. When asked provocative questions designed to generate headlines, he responds with context, comparative examples, and often granular detail that doesn't yield the sound bites journalists seek. Most revealing is his consistent body language during these encounters. While many politicians leak physical signs of stress during hostile questioning, increased blinking, throat clearing, shifting posture, Putin typically becomes more still, maintaining unwavering eye contact and controlled breathing. The message is clear. Pressure doesn't register with him, at least not visibly. Number 3, Putin can drive every vehicle. Vladimir Putin's ability to personally operate an astonishing variety of vehicles, from submarines to fighter jets, stands as one of the most visual demonstrations of his hands-on approach to power. Unlike most world leaders who are perpetually passengers, Putin regularly positions himself at the controls, creating powerful imagery that resonates both domestically and internationally. Number 2, Putin knows when to laugh and when to have a grim face. Vladimir Putin's masterful control of his facial expressions and emotional displays has become one of his most effective diplomatic weapons. During his landmark interview with Tucker Carlson, Putin demonstrated this skill with remarkable effectiveness. The unexpected humor visibly relaxed Carlson, who then abandoned his prepared confrontational questions for a more conversational approach. Precisely the interview format that benefited Putin. Number 1, Putin's grip on power. While presidents come and go across the Western world, Vladimir Putin has maintained his position at Russia's helm through 5 US presidencies, 8 UK prime ministers, and countless European leadership changes. This longevity isn't merely a quirk of Russian politics, but a testament to Putin's unparalleled political survivability in the modern era. Putin has negotiated with George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden, accumulating institutional knowledge and relationship history that gives him a significant advantage in diplomatic exchanges. As one German diplomat noted, he doesn't need briefing books on American leaders' personalities. He studied them firsthand across decades. In a geopolitical environment where consistency and predictability have become rare commodities, Putin's enduring presence has established him as a fixed point around which international relations must orient, the definition of a Sigma figure that creates his own gravitational pull rather than orbiting around others. What truly sets Vladimir Putin apart on the world stage isn't any single characteristic, but rather the rare combination of qualities that create his distinctive presence. Just before you end up this video, subscribe for the next upcoming videos. Have a nice week.